Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, we are back again with an All-American Season 4, Episode 4 review called Bird in Hand. I really enjoyed this episode, guys. I just can't believe, again, it feels like we're deep in the season already, but we're just barely scratching the surface. Like, this is only Episode 4, which is insane to me still that it's only Episode 4, and we still have yet to we have so much to go of where the story can go. Like, we think we're there with the story, but then it keeps, we see the evolution of the story on where things can progress to. And this was a really great episode because, in this episode we really see, from last week's episode of Spencer now knows the coach that wants to, give him the full, D1 scholarship to Toledo State, is no longer the coach anymore. And that coach, to Spencer, believed in him and he trusted that coach. The coach made him want to go to Toledo State, and pretty much that is swaying him not to now not go to Toledo State because that once coach is no longer there, the assistant coach that was there that recruited Spencer, and that's the only reason that Spencer wanted to go there. And I mean, now that no one really is no one took a chance on Spencer, and the only one that did was that assistant coach from Toledo State. And now it's no longer, he's no longer there. Spencer is uneasy in the fact that he wants to take that opportunity to play his first full year as a freshman at, this is his first chance to play, D1, football in college for his first year as a freshman and play. And pretty much, now that he is pretty much committed to, to Toledo State, it's now no one else really took a chance on him, and he has nowhere else to go. And he finds that out later in this episode. Again, I'm going to be all over the place, guys, but he finds out later out in this episode. He's pretty much trying to figure out, does he want to take a chance with the new head coach or with the new assistant coach, and does he want to listen to the dude that should have been in the last episode? I forget the dude's name. I had my little brother with me downstairs when I was watching it, so I forget the dude's name that really is giving the Spencer this pretty much it's either you take it or leave it type situation that pretty much said, you gotta let me know soon, the next day before I leave. And, in this episode, we see he's trying to figure out if he wants to do this or not. We see him, I forget what he was doing. I think he was training or whatever. And then that's when the coach comes in and says, Toledo State's lucky that we have you. And he's pretty much, questioning the fact of, he even asked the coach saying, do you want to, I have a question for you. I understand that you want to build the whole, line team around me, and, I'm the pinpoint of your season, but, I want to know why the assistant coach is gone. The guy that recruited me, what happened? But he wouldn't even respond to that. He's like, I thought you'd be grateful that, we chose you or whatever. He pretty much makes it sound like he's making Spencer feel like he's ungrateful. He's putting Spencer in that position that he's making Spencer the enemy. Why is he asking these questions? He should be grateful we even chose him. And pretty much that is the forefront of today's episode, is that, is pretty much, how black athletes have so much pressure on them, and they're pretty much meant to be perfect. They're not meant to make mistakes. We pretty much get that in this episode of, that's pretty much what Olivia, and it goes into what Olivia goes into and what her plot is in this episode, but it also leads into Spencer, into Jordan, into Simone, into, the project that, Olivia is meant to do in this episode is she applied for, I believe, a writing program, I guess, to work with an LA writing program or something, or LA, I think something to do with writing or a blog or something. And she had an assignment, and the assignment was do something that's joy, that brings you joy, or do something that whatever. And she pretty much ends up finding from that assignment, thinking, if I talk to Simone about how Simone's really finding something and it makes her joyful, let me talk to her. I want to interview you because, you found what you really want to do in your life. You found your passion of wanting to go to school for tennis, and you found a different way that wasn't Princeton. You found something that was a better way that, really showed black excellence and stuff. So she found it, and, I forget what the place is on the top of my head, what the it's on the tip of my tongue, what the college is called. It's called into Brixton. Yeah, Brixton. So she found it in a different path that wasn't Princeton, but found it even in a better path in Brixton. So, she pretty much like, oh, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like a downer, but she's like, no, this actually, makes sense. It might not bring joy to everybody, but it's the fact of this needs to be told, you know what I mean? This needs to be shown. And sometimes, you can find, it might not be joyful in a sense, but it can bring the truth, and that could be joy, and, and talking about the truth. And, she ends up talking to Spencer, wants to interview Spencer, and that helps Spencer figure out some of his, he's kind of just like, yeah, you're right, the coach, I should be grateful. And, he's explaining to Olivia in the interview saying, I can't believe I'm going to be playing underneath the, on live television, underneath the bright lights like I've been wanting to do ever since I was a kid, and it's finally happening. I'm going to be in a D1 school. And, it's crazy because, I'm kind of, feeling like, I'm kind of feeling on edge about if I should be doing it or not, because, about the, the coach that did recruit me ended up getting fired, or ended up disappearing. And, I asked a question, and, he just turned me down and getting the answer I wanted. And pretty much Olivia's like, no. It's not that you should be like, oh, if it's, he is right, I'm sounding a little bit ungrateful or whatever. It's like, no, you asked a question, and this goes to show that, that he just blows you off, meaning that, he's making you sound like, oh, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have this or whatever. So you should really, keep sticking to your guns about it. If you don't feel right about it, then, you shouldn't do it. And we really get that through other people telling him that, you know what I mean? Like, if there's just something weird about it. I found something sus about that, the coach wasn't telling Spencer and answering the question that Spencer had about why did the assistant coach leave, what happened. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like some weird shady shit was going on. I'm like, I don't know, I feel like we still have yet to discover what the hell was going on, because there must have been a reason why that coach left. So it's gonna be interesting going forward to see what exactly happened, why that coach got fired, and this one coach, that isn't like the main coach of Toledo State, but he's the coach that is that went to go see Spencer. He's very suspect, and he ends up being very shady at the end of this episode, putting Spencer in a hard position where he can't get out of something, which we'll get into more later down the line of the episode. But And that goes to show what Olivia is doing. Olivia is, she's trying to get with writing. She's trying to do something with that. That's what she really wants to do. She really wants to, tell people what they need to hear. And that's really awesome that we really see where Olivia's character is going and progressing, and seeing how much she's grown. And I'm excited to see where she goes, getting, this job, you know what I mean? That, just where she'll go with the writing. I'm really interested to see where she's going to be going, because she was doing her social justice work, and she wants to do more of that in the writing and just telling the what people need to hear. And I really appreciate seeing where her character is going. But going with Billy in this episode, Billy, he actually gets an offer to be that assistant coach that ended up getting fired, because the one coach asked Billy if he wants to take that spot, and pretty much Billy is questioning the fact of if he should do that, if he should stay if he should stay with South Crenshaw and keep coaching there, or he should take it to the next step, like he's been wanting to take it to the next step ever since he got wasn't able to play anymore in the NFL. He's always wanted to take that next step to really be in college football and to be as close as he can get to the action of feeling like he's still in the NFL and still participating and doing something big in his life. He wants to do that. And pretty much he gets the offer, and also it's a bonus because he gets to be with Spencer and gets to teach Spencer for 4 more years, and teach him more lessons of how to do things before he actually gets in the NFL. So it's like, there's two pros to this, but there's also a con, because he feels like he wants Spencer to feel like he can succeed without having him there, to always have, himself there as a solution or an answer to whatever problem Spencer's going through. He really wants him to soar and fly and really become his own man. And he learns that through Jordan in this episode, because Jordan ends up coming throughout the same problem as everybody else of really finding out who he is and what he wants to do, because that's like the big thing going right now in this season, is everybody is trying to find out who they are and who they want to be leading into college or leading into life. They're at that point where they're about to graduate in I think in a couple of weeks or whatever, and they're all trying to figure out who they want to be. Asher kind of, in a way, is finding out who he wants to be after last week's episode of him finding out that there's more that he wants to find than just football. There's more to him than just football, and I'm excited to see where Asher is going to be going forward in the season. We didn't really get much of him. He was like sort of in the background in today's episode. He really wasn't like a forefront character of where he's going to be going. Other than, he still wants to take some time away from football. He still doesn't want to really doesn't want to be involved in it. But, he overcomes some things in this episode of him, going to see Spencer and, Jordan play in the All-Star game. But at this point, Jordan is still trying to find out who he is in the fact of, he needs to find out his black excellence. He needs to find out, he needs to, show people that he can be the best. Show people that, they can count on him. Show people that, they need to stop, overlooking him, and he has talent, and he can be the best and everything. Like, he wants to prove that, and he really stepped up in this episode. Like, I would say, like, out of all the episodes, this episode really impressed me with Jordan, because that one sequence where we see, Cam again, because we see Cam at the All-Star game, he got, of course, an invitation because, he was one of the greats of, South Crenshaw before he left for, whatever other high school at the time. So seeing him again, Cam, of course, is Cam. Of course, he's going to start shit with other people. But it was cool because, him and Spencer were getting along, which really makes me happy because anytime Cam got on Spencer, it pissed me off. But anytime we needed Cam to really step up, he stepped up. So seeing Cam again, he's starting to pick shit with people, calling this one lineman, saying he has a big-ass head and whatever. And then, of course, he's like, what did you just say? And then Spencer's like, he didn't say anything. He's like, and Spencer's like, why do you always gotta do that, bro? Why do you always gotta do that shit? And he's like, his head was big, though. And he's like, yeah, it was big ass head. But, of course, they were like, I like that. They were on the same team, so they weren't against each other. And that's the best, seeing Cam and Spencer on the same team, because I like that friendship that they can have, the friendship that they do have when, Cam isn't up in his, feelings about, I gotta be the best, I gotta do this, gotta do that. So I did like seeing Cam in this episode. It was really nice to see him come back, and pretty much, him trying to, like, start shit with people, even when the All-Star game does start, and that's just the first practice he starts shit, but when even, like, or whatever, like, I guess when they all get together, and even in, like, I think it's still the first practice, if not the game. I think it's the game at this point. He's still starting shit, and this time he actually breaks out into a fight, or whatever, of the thing, or actually, I think it was still a practice at the time. It was going on, or it was the game. I don't quite remember, but even, like, he starts shit, and then of course Jordan runs out there and he's like, "Yo, we need to stop this shit, guys. We're all this All-Star game is to celebrate our talents. So let's stop acting like children and let's just play the damn game. You know what I mean? Shake hands." So he's like, "I mean it, shake hands." And I was like, "Damn, Jordan." I was like, "Wow, you're really impressing me, man. Where are you learning this? Becoming a leader, becoming grown up, not being a child. Like, where did this come from?" And I love it because, Billy's like, "Damn, he must have learned that from me." And Coach Montez is like, "He definitely didn't learn that from you. He learned it from me." I was like, damn well, Coach Montez is right. You learned it from you, girl. I was like, dang. I was like, you right. And Billy's like, I just love that moment. I thought that was cool and funny because Billy and Coach Montez make me laugh when they, like, squabble a little bit. Saying, like, oh, like, who's really, like, the one that's making, Jordan become into a really grown adult? It's definitely Coach Montez. She's really been there for him. But seeing that was really cool to see Jordan really step up and just seeing him happy, saying, if this one, because he ends up finding out after he ends up balling out, he actually gets put in the game. Coach Montez puts him in and says, "Oh, can you put this other kid in that Jordan met?" And he was one of the receivers, but I guess he was a backup receiver. And they were talking, saying, let's just be happy we're here. It says All-American on our chest. Let's just be grateful that we're here. And if we get put in, we get put in. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be happy. Let's be grateful that we made it, in a sense. We did it. And the kid was literally, like, looking up on the on the downside of things and making it into a positive. Like, that kid is really cool. That is like, that's what the person that Jordan needs, is someone to really show him that even the littlest things are actually great things. It depends on how you make them. And it was such a great life lesson. Is something can be as bad as you think it is, but in a way, it's like, you look up on the upside of things when you can. You know what I mean? Like, to really, like, try to make a difference, to not be in that negative mindset. And that kid really showed him that and said, Coach, can you please put them in the game with me? And, they were balling out, him and that receiver. And, they definitely got some eyes on them, probably, because I could see Jordan maybe in a way it'd be cool, but maybe he can get scouted by someone at the last minute and he doesn't have to go to to like a not D1 school, and then eventually transfer into a D1 school, and then get into the NFL. Maybe there is a different path he could take, but he's okay with taking that path where it's like, it might not be a D1 school, but I can get there with everybody's eyes on me, because they'll want to go see me at these these lower schools. And it's a pretty smart thing, because you see that a lot in the real world, where some people can't get in the D1 schools, but they'll go to a lower class school, and like a lower ranking school, and then they end up balling out, and then they end up transferring to a D1 college, and then getting into the NFL, or staying there and then transferring, getting an invitation for the combine or anything. Like, there's just crazy stories. But I'm just happy that Jordan's looking up more on the upside of things, and that really shows growth to his character, guys. Like, that's a big step for him. So seeing that was really cool. And also, going into Coop's side of things, and Coop is like, we start off seeing in the episode, like, it's kind of like almost felt like a repeat of last week's episode, where she's like really gonna let this other person sing my music, and the other girl's in there singing or whatever, and she's like, wow, you're really acting like your father like daughter or whatever, and she's like, that's not fair or whatever, I'm trying to make money, I put a lot of money into this, they're not your songs, they're my songs. And she's like, wow, so is that any different than when your dad took Patience song and gave it to somebody else? And it's true. I said the same thing in my last week's review. Like, that's true. She's acting like her father like daughter. And I'm gonna be honest, it's true though. I understand Layla needs to make money. She put a lot of money into it, but at the same time, you do have a shit ton of money there. It's not like you literally like you're like acting like, oh, that's all your money, and essentially it's not. Essentially, it's it's not like you're gonna run out of money. But I understand she wants her own money, she wants to do her own thing. I understand that, but it just really annoys me, because it's like, one, that's your friend. Two, why don't you motivate her to get her back in the studio, so you can get her back on her feet, Coop, and then make the money, and you guys can still be friends instead of doing what you were doing. I just didn't like how she was following the path of how her father was, even though she shamed her father for what he did to Patience. So it's like, I just didn't want her, it felt very hypocritical, and it felt like literally you don't want to be your father, but you're acting like your father. So, that really annoyed me. But, we see, Astra makes Coop think of a bigger side of things, saying, you should be great. It should be a compliment that, they want to keep your music and somebody else wants to sing your music. And, you should look on the upside of things. So it's like, this episode is really like everybody trying to find who they are and where, and who they want to be after, leading into their lives after high school, and, and looking on the bright side of things. And that's pretty much, again, what Asher was doing. Asher's really trying to find other things that, can make him whole besides football. And he's trying to teach Coop there's other things than you wanting to rap. I know it's a thing that you might not be able to do anymore, but you're not just music. You are something else. You got to figure out who that is. And I could see Coop maybe doing some, record deal stuff, like, being, a producer or something like that. I could see her doing something like that. Because, she's like, she gave Layla ideas saying, I'm sorry, after she talked to Asher, saying, I'm sorry, I understand you need to get these, records done, but, she needs to not sing my lyrics because they don't sound good, because they're not personal to her, they're personal to me. She needs to just freestyle. And, Layla's like, that's actually a great idea. And I just could see, and I know Coop's not done rapping. I bet she's definitely going to be rapping again. But it just makes me feel like there is more to Coop than just her being a rapper, her singing. She's more than just that. And I'm excited to see if she doesn't do that, but she still can be involved in music. Maybe Layla and her can be partners in labeling people and producing people and stuff like that. That'd be sick to see that go down. So I'm just excited to see where is Coop going to go going forward. Because you can tell she misses the music, and she really wants to get back in the booth. And I feel like she's not done with music, and I feel like this is the last time we'll see her being done with music. She will keep doing music. I feel like we're going to see her do music again soon, but it's definitely going to be a journey. Hopefully, we get to see her actually try to really get back up to speed on her being able to rap again, her being able to, sing again. But she needs to put in that grind. She needs to show if that's really her passion. She needs to not quit. She needs to keep striving to make it happen. She needs to bounce back. She's been through a lot, and she needs to show herself that, she's been through hell before. She's pulled through, and she needs to show herself again that she could pull through all this hell that she's been through. So I'm really excited to see where Coop goes going forward in the season, and just to see where initially all these characters go. We barely saw Laura in this episode. We haven't seen her in a minute. Like, we barely see her as the forefront. But she was saying to Billy, I'm wherever you go, you followed me through my career path, and now it's time for me to repay you. And wherever you go, I'll go. If you want to go to Toledo, we can go there and, we can stay there if you want to take that manager position. And, she was up for it, but, Billy turned it down at the end of the All-Star game, saying, I can't do that to Spencer. He needs to really fly and soar for himself. I can't always be there for him. I'm sorry. And then next thing Cam, of course, he hints saying, today's the day I'm going to choose which college I go to. And he's like picking up hats at the table when he's getting interviewed. And then he ends up pretty much putting on a hat that says to be continued or whatever. And then they're like, I guess he's still likes being a free agent, so we'll see sometime soon what college he picks. And then that's when, Cam and, Olivia and, everybody made Spencer realize, I don't want to make this decision if the person that I committed to is no longer there. I have no clue what I'm signing up for. I'm not doing it anymore. He pretty much turned down the Toledo State thing, and pretty much the one coach that was there from last week's episode said, it's because, a lot of the scouters were here and they scouted you and Billy, isn't it, or whatever. I see how it is. You know what I mean? Like, they offered you more money. Their pockets were deeper, and he's like, that's not it. And, of course, the dude's angry. So, pretty much by the end of this episode, we see him calling Billy saying, I'm going to let you tell Spencer this, or I'm going to tell Spencer this. That, we're not letting Spencer get out of his contract with Toledo State. He has to play for us, and if he doesn't play for us, then he won't be able to play his first year of freshman college D1 college football. He won't be able to play his first freshman year. He won't be able to play at all, which will really dampen a lot. He would have to start all over again of really trying to get scouters to really pick him up. At that point, no one would probably pick him up because the season would have already started probably. So it's like he just is trying to figure out what the hell am I supposed to do, because this affects everything. This one dude's such an ass, though. I mean, I can't believe he would just do that to a kid just because he's upset. And because he's upset because he's like, there's no other people that can take that spot that Spencer is. We were building everything around him. We don't have another, person in that position. He was supposed to do that. So now, since we can't get anybody, we're keeping in his contract whether he likes it or not. And it's like, dude, you're a piece of crap. You're suspect. You couldn't even answer a question to Spencer. You're not helping him want to stay. You're just helping him want to even leave even more. You're proving to him that you are suspect. You are sus. So it's kind of like, I'm curious to know what's going to happen with Spencer. Is he going to somehow get another offer? It looks like he's really being hard on himself in this next episode, really trying to ball out, it looks like, in practice or whatever he's doing. So I'm just curious to know what the hell's going to happen, because he's not going to want to go to Toledo State. He's not going to do it. Even if he misses out his freshman year, he probably won't do it. He won't want to do it. And going with, Olivia getting her, her writing I think writing internship or whatever at the LA whatever, she gets it. And, Billy is about to go out and tell Spencer, but, Spencer's so happy with Olivia's news, and Billy doesn't want to break him with the bad news, but I don't know. For a second, I thought Billy was going to keep that lie from him for a while. I was like, don't lie to him again, because we all know how that goes. But he tells him in the next episode, so that's good. But there's just going to be a lot of drama, I feel like, going forward with Spencer and this one coach, and, keeping him into this contract. I feel like maybe Laura can get involved, trying to get him out of the contract. Because, again, we all know Laura, oh my God, I can't even speak. We all know Laura is a lawyer, so I'm excited to see what she'll bring into the table, because I think she'll bring something to the table where she can get him out of the contract. So and it might not be the end of the world for Spencer, because we sometimes forget that Laura is a lawyer. So it should be very, very interesting. At least I think she's still a lawyer, if I'm correct. I don't quite remember. I think she still is. No, I don't know. You guys will have to refresh me. I remember I think she quit because of the corrupt police force. So I think that's why she quit. So I don't think she is a lawyer. She was trying to find out a different way to help people. So I don't know what Laura's been up to in her job position recently in the season so far, but hopefully we'll figure that out soon. But maybe she has some connections that can get Spencer out of this contract. But guys, I really enjoyed this episode. Again, it was called Bird in Hand, and it's really true, that saying. You know what I mean? Like, it really represents this week's episode. So I just really enjoyed it. I just can't believe we're still in episode 4. That's just insane to me. We are still in episode 4, and it's like, I feel like we're so deep in the season. I feel like it's like we're getting to that finish of the season, but we have yet scratched the surface of what we're going to be getting in the season so far. Again, this was just episode 4. We have a lot of episodes still to go, so I just can't wait to see what we're going to get for the rest of the season, because a lot can happen before that graduation. So to be very, very interesting. Also, it's going to be, interesting seeing where the season can go next year, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be getting confirmed for season 5. I mean, if it hasn't already happened already, I feel like that's definitely where the season's going to be going, if it is going to be, and that's if they're planning on doing a season 5, which I hope they are, because they could still do some stuff with, him being in college, and Spencer being in college, Simone being in college, them trying to, survive college and stuff like that, and where their life is going, getting into the NFL. There's just so much stuff they could still do, but we still haven't yet scratched the surface of where this story is going. We have a little bit of an insight of where it's probably going to be going. But we have yet to discover the whole story, and I can't wait to finish that out and see where everybody's going to be going forward for the rest of the season. But guys, again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, post notifications, like this video. I would love to have you guys here, part of this family here on this channel. We're almost to literal 500 subs. Literally, right now we're at 414, almost to 500. So yet again, I would love it again if you subscribe to the channel, post notifications, and like this video. Come join this family. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. I really want to make sure everybody follows their dreams out there, guys, because life is short. You were put here on this earth to strive for greatness and reach for the stars and grab those stars and just achieve greatness and follow your dreams and just make your dreams become a reality. And just I just really want that for you guys. I'm each and every day I'm striving for greatness. This is literally my passion. This is my dream. I'm striving for my dreams. I'm achieving my dreams. I just can't believe I started YouTube last year, and by the end of this year, mark 2 years I've been on YouTube, and that's insane, guys. That I've literally been on YouTube for 2 years by the end of this year, and that's going to be insane. And we're making moves, we're making strides, and I just cannot believe we're almost to 500 subs. Again, I would just love it if you guys keep, if you guys, could join this family here on this channel, and and just help me achieve my dreams. I would just love it, and hopefully my videos can motivate you to achieve your dreams and achieve greatness. And again, guys, I just love the love and the positivity and motivation that you guys show me down in the comments below, and the love that you guys show me down in the comments below. You guys motivate me each and every day to be a better version of myself each and every day, and to keep striving for my dreams, and I really appreciate that, guys. You guys literally drive me to keep striving for my dreams, and I really, really love that, guys. So I really do appreciate it, guys. And I just can't wait to hear down in the comments below what you guys think of episode 4 of All American. Guys, also, we have a big day tomorrow. For some people that want to know this news, Spider-Man No Way Home trailer 2 comes out tomorrow. It comes out, I think, it starts at 5, p.m., in LA, the fan event, but the trailer for us, when 5 for them is 8 for us, I think, or 9 for us on the East Coast. So the trailer is rumored to drop at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And I am going to be making another video after this talking about what shows I am going to be postponing for tomorrow's video, because I won't be able to watch any shows around 8 and 9 o'clock because that trailer is going to be dropping out around then. I'm going to have to postpone it into Wednesday, do them Wednesday morning, and then those should be up throughout the day of Wednesday. They should be up. If I can take off Wednesday. I'm not even sure if I can take off yet. I have to talk to my managers tomorrow. But if I can't take off, I'm going to be doing it around 4 o'clock tomorrow to two of the things I'm going to be talking about on the shows I'm postponing. I'm going to talk about that, and I'll have them up, and then I'll be able to watch, the other, well, actually, nothing else will be out Wednesday, so I should be good, but they'll be up Wednesday at the latest, whether I'm taking off or I'm not taking off, they'll be up Wednesday regardless. So, go check out that video. I'm going to tell you guys what I'm going to be postponing and what's going to be really going down tomorrow. Even though I give you a little bit of an insight of, I am postponing something tomorrow, and some shows tomorrow, and the Spider-Man trailer is coming out tomorrow. So I'm stoked for that, literally. But guys, that was a video for All American Season 4 called, Bird in Hands. I can't wait to hear again what you guys thought about this episode 4. Let me know down in the comments below. I love talking to you guys down in the comments. But guys, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next Monday for All American. Peace.